Hey, I'm live. All right, good news. Okay, it is March 12th. And before I start, I'm going to do the seventh part of my escape series, which I think is the end of it. I'm pretty sure for escaping out. But just while guys are, finding out that I'm live, which hopefully some people do. But anyway, I want to mention a couple of things. DOA, which is Defender of Ants, you can type him in YouTube, and he just did a great interview with this lady. It's it's an excellent interview about his activism. Her name is the Nona, Nonna boss, and then audits and investigations. So DOA is over. I mean, he just did it. They finished it, but he just did this fantastic interview. I thought, where I mean, he's kind of an amazing guy. He's really done a lot of stuff. Hey, all right, a bunch of people showed up. Thank you for coming. Wait a second, I got to uninstall this thing. Sorry. Just a second. This thing drives me nuts. And I don't know how to get rid of it, but DOA is coming tomorrow, so maybe he can help me. Hello, hello. Oh, from Norway. Oh, you lucky dog. I love Norway. It's a wonderful country. If you haven't gone there, go there. I've talked to a lot of people that have traveled, and most of them say, yeah, we went to Norway last, and it ended up being our favorite country, in the whole world. It's just a gorgeous country. But anyway, for right now, Defender Vance just did this DOA on YouTube, just did this thing and an interview, and he's having, well, actually, La Poubelle, I think, is having some kind of a deal at 4:30, and I think you can get the link over at DOA's site, and it's some kind of legal thing on their liquor license, but it's something that will affect him. They served him, I think, last night. All these things are such BS. It's like you can watch the videos and see that didn't happen. Like Danny, I was there when the Danny thing happened. It was like, come on. The guy was sitting in a chair, and all of a sudden the cops pull up, handcuff him, throw him in the car. That's it. He's been in jail all weekend long. Yeah, that's not. So that's hashtag free Danny. But anyway, the other one, check on DOA, the link for it, because he'd like to have more. You can listen to the whole whatever it was, and there may be ways you can talk, but I think you have to go down there. I think. I'm not sure. I'm not positive, but you can poke around and find out about it. Anyway, Love It is now one of my moderators, so that's wonderful. Thank you so much. She helped me a bunch last night, so that's great. And like I said, DOA is going to come over tomorrow. Let me just see if there's any other. Oh, yeah, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. My subscriptions are going up, and that's great because Osa hates that. So that's always fun for me because they're kind of creepy. And I mean, all this stuff that's going on with these false police arrests and stuff like that. I can't guarantee it's Scientology, but I would put my money on it that they're in it somehow. They've got something going on it. And just different things that have happened that are creepy. You just go, come on. It happened right. People, Streets LA and Sergio, apparently something happened with them. So you can check that out. Always Jessica Palmadessa. She's got her camera going. She's very good to listen to. Confident Chris and Chris Without a Hellcat. Those are the guys that I know for sure. I'm still meeting different people. I love meeting all these guys. I'm so excited. This is such a wonderful thing for me. I mean, and when you hear this today, what happened, you'll get it. That it's like I had nothing. I in 24 hours, like I was on Alt Religion Scientology, which was the only news group back in 2000. Well, really, it was in the 90s I got on it. And in 2000, I started making my own posts, having nothing to do with Osa, nothing to do with Youre. I explained it in an earlier video, how they turned on me. And it was like, okay, fine. I'm going to go and join the Cowboys, because that's what I looked at them as. And I still look at a lot of you guys as that. It's like the old Wild West Cowboys, where they can do what they want. They can say what they want. They can go where they want. They're not guarded by anybody. Whereas in Scientology, it's like a triangle. And as I say, it's like the Truman Show, where, they run everything. and the higher up you get in the triangle, which I was second to the top, and my husband was OT 8, we're talking about on the public side of things on auditing. But they've cut off your speech. You can't really talk to anybody. You can't really think even. You certainly can't watch videos like this, read anything. You just can't. And I know a lot of people, for you, because you grew up with the internet, it's like, how could this possibly be? But you have to remember, like, my husband was born in it. His parents got it in 1950. My ex-husband, because he's remarried now, and he still stayed in. But anyway, it's one of those things where there was no internet. I got in 1969. There was no internet really until 2000 that we really had. And Scientologists don't have access to it anyway, because they've already cut off, and they teach you to self-censor yourself. It's not like they say, you can't read the internet, because who would listen to that? Nobody. But they get you to realize you're never going to get free if you read all these suppressive people and what they're saying, because they're all filled with lies. They're all wrong. And, you've got to watch out for it. Okay, so there's that. So we were kind of in the dark. I mean, very much in the dark. So now I start waking up, and I can't remember the name of the movie, but I think it's Pleasantville. I think that's the name of it. But it's where they're all in black, and then they start slowly, as they wake up, they start coming into color. And I was over at the complex, all in black, like everybody else. But slowly I start coming into color. I can tell it. I can feel it. And they're coming up to me going, Tori, when are you coming back to Flag to continue OT7? And I'm like, and they all have the same exact pitch, the same exact thing. And I'm like, well, and you're right. It is story time with me. And I kind of feel bad because everyone's on this whole legal thing, and I get it, but I feel like it's covered by people that know what they're doing and they're in it, and it happened to them. So I feel like we should all support them in that, which is like DOA, streets. Jessica was handcuffed for nothing. She went to a party and she was just outside, and they just pulled up and handcuffed her and everything else. So that's Jessica Palmadessa. And, anyone that where Danny, he's been arrested and in jail this whole weekend, totally false. I mean, totally false. And there's videotapes of it. But instead of going, let's look at the videotape, let's see what happened. Okay, you did steal the bike, so we're going to handcuff you and put you in jail. Wait a minute, the video shows you were trying to push away a guy who was pushing a thing on you. You know what I mean? No, you're not. We're not arresting you. In fact, we're going to arrest him for pushing that stuff on you or whatever. You know what I mean? But the point is, these people are totally falsely arrested. But there's a lot of them. And that's a good thing. And that's what DOA was talking about in his interview. It's like, it's a lot, and it's growing every day. And all of you that are on listening to any of us, it really, really makes a difference. It really does, because it's a bigger and bigger thing. And it's like, you can depose one person, but when you have thousands of people listening and watching this fake thing happen, it doesn't take a brilliant mind to go, wait a minute, something is wrong here with the LAPD. And what does Scientology have to do with it? Because this restaurant, the owner is a Scientologist. And she went down to back up Danny Masterson, who was charged with raping, I think, 2 or 3 women. I think 2 for sure, but I think he's raped many. But anyway, it's a tragic story for me, because I knew Danny when he was a little kid, and he was a good kid. And to see him now, it's just like, what a mess. It's like, it's awful. To me, it's awful that anybody that you can see that was a normal person grows into that. It's like, what the hell happened? And apparently one of the ladies, one of the drinks that was served to her that drugged her was at that restaurant. So that's why everybody's kind of protesting it and stuff like that. Anyway, so that's at 4:30. And if you want to go listen to that, you can listen to it. And I'll answer your questions in a minute, but I'm going to finish the 7 thing. So it's basically just Back in 2000, and a few people have asked me this, what was protesting like? Well, first of all, I wasn't going to protest. I had called Stacy and said, I'm not going to speak out. I'm not going to protest. I'm not going to make videos. Well, that worked out, didn't it? But, what happened is Scientology right away started picking on me. And it just pissed me off. I was at the Lisa McPherson Trust, which is in Clearwater, Florida. It's over this way. It's over in Florida. And it's in Clearwater, Florida. And they had started it in honor of Lisa McPherson. And if you don't know who she is, Google it, because it's a very important story. But anyway, they started the trust in honor of her because she's dead. And thanks to Scientology, who took care of her instead of letting her stay in the hospital where she should have been. And they basically, in my opinion, they killed her. But they got out of it. They had a whole trial and everything else, and they paid off the coroner who changed their story from this to this. Oh, she didn't die for this; she died for that. And the family flew in, and they were really pissed. They were really ready to tell their story. And what do you know? Everything signed, sealed, delivered. Bye to the family. What happened? Sealed. Can't say anymore. That's it. That's the Church of Scientology. And I'm going to say it over and over because these guys at La Poubelle say, Danny Masterson, rapist. Okay, but you got to put in Danny Masterson, Scientologist and rapist, who drugged someone at La Poubelle. Do you see what I mean? So people get what is the connection here? Right across the street, one family member called me last night, and this is sort of, I'm not going to cry. I don't want to cry, but there's so many families where they've lost their children. And this parent said to me, well, actually, I can tell you, it's Phil Jones. And he's the one who put up that big billboard yesterday. He's been trying to talk to his children for years. And we've been trying to help him get to his children to just talk to them and say, I love you. You know what I mean? It's nothing. He just wants to talk to his children. And he said, Tori, I mean, even those guys at La Poubelle, if they would just go once a day around Celebrity Center and say, where is Philip Jones's son? Because he's at Celebrity Center. His name's Michael. I'll have to ask Phil. I forget his last name. It might be Michael Jones, but anyway, it is. It's Michael Jones. That's it. And so I think that's it. He might have. Yeah, that's it. But he said they could just go around one time and just scream in, "Where's Michael Jones? Call your mother." That's what he wanted him to say. Call your mother, right? And I've stood outside that many times. I go to the graduation on Friday night, and one time just piles of staff members and people were coming out, and I just stood right there. I was videotaping the whole thing, saying, "Call your mother, call your father, call any children that you haven't talked to," and I just filmed the whole thing. And it was just like every person that came out of that graduation heard that comment. And I think it's important. It really is, because these parents, they have no line into their kids. So anyway, that's La Poubelle. But, okay, so now what was I talking about? Let's see. Thank you. Okay, all right. I don't think that's it. She did the ad thing, and I remember that. They're talking to someone else when they put the ad sign. That's new for me. I didn't know that. And I still don't know how you can highlight someone's name and then make a comment to them, because people will do that to me. They'll say Tori Magoo and it's a comment. I don't know how to do that. Okay, so anyway, let me just find out one thing. Hang on, stand by. My moderator, love it. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna have to just think about it because I guess she's busy. Wait, it says show. Let's see if it is. Right, the ad symbol and then their name. Okay. All right, that's good. So that's how it highlights it. Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me know that. All right, so I'm trying to remember where I was. I get off onto these things, and then it's very difficult to remember because there's so much stuff. You can see there's a lot of stuff that happens. Anyway, point being, I did the thing with Magoo's Worst Nightmare, right? I wrote that in the last one, part 6. And I was waking up, in Pleasantville. Okay, right. Okay, thank you. Because see, that's a total other thing than Clearwater. Pleasantville was before I woke up. And I forgot to tell you that, but thank you for reminding me, love it. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it was before I woke up, but I was waking up, and these people were saying, you've got to come back to flag, you've got to get back on 7, blah, blah, blah. And I just kept feeling like I was turning more and more into color. And I remember sitting outside of Asho and thinking to myself, am I in like all kinds of like phosphorescent bright lights? I mean, I just felt like everyone was coming up to me going, when are you coming back to OT7? And it was like, this is a nightmare. Anyway, so that was right before I started posting the 4,000 posts on alt religion Scientology. So I make these 4,000 posts. I escaped out, like I told you. That's all earlier. I've told you that. I'm at Bob's. They put me in the guest room. I'm at Bob and Stacy's in Clearwater, Florida. I post Magoo's worst nightmare, which was the last thing, which had to do with epilepsy. And now it's the next day. And already, this was the thing I wanted to tell you before that. Before I wake up, and someone remember, I'm waking up the next day. That's the thing I want to tell you about. But before I wake up, tons of people, I mean, tons and tons and tons of people on the internet are saying, don't talk to Magoo. She's really Osa. She's a deep cover plant. You know, it's just like these guys have been running this shit on me forever. The sad part is in the beginning, everyone bought it. They believed it. And I knew it was Yachty. You know, it's like as soon as Bob gave me the laptop, said, nobody knows who you are, tell your story, you know, on the internet. And everybody in the church knew, but they can't read the internet. So it didn't matter. But the people on the internet didn't know me. And I'd made all these crazy 4,000 posts and sounded like just kind of a lunatic. And he said, just tell your story. So I started with the Magoo's worst nightmare. That was my thing. Because I wanted to let him know, you know, this is kind of how I got out. I wouldn't have probably, if they hadn't done all the shit that they did to me with epilepsy, I'd probably still be a Scientologist. But they did do all the shit that they did to me. So during that time, before I got to Clearwater, in that time, people were just pounding away. Don't listen to Magoo. Don't talk to Magoo. They're yelling at Andreas, saying, Andreas, don't talk to her. And he's now talking to me publicly on the internet. And he's saying, look, I'm in Norway. He's like a super smart, logical thinking debater, computer geek, right? The guy has got his shit together. And he says, look, I'm in Norway. I'm using words. She can't hurt me with words. And maybe, you know, we should hear what she has to say, right? And so I was like, oh, God bless Andreas. Because honestly, for 24 hours, he was the only person that was standing up for me online. That was it. Nobody else. I knew Bob, Stacy, and Jesse were going to help me get across the country. But online, it was just Andreas. And everybody was attacking me and telling Andreas to stop talking to me. So that's pretty spooky people now, all this stuff is happening and it is awful. There's no question about it. It's awful because it's hard to, anyway, it's just awful. It is when somebody just attacks the death out of you. And Jesse came up with this thing years later, but I'll tell you that later. But he used to say, I'll just tell you the one line. He used to say, step away from the stove. And that's a very good thing to remember. And I will say it over and over because people get into it. They get super upset and then they keep on writing. And that's just, it's the wrong thing to do because you're too into it. You're too upset. And, then you just flip out. People can literally flip out. So it's better to just step away from the stove. And I remember Yachty saying this to me. The only thing we can't handle from Osa in the Church of Scientology is someone not saying anything, Tori. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, if they don't answer, I can't keep it going. See, he had the 10 different accounts. So 2 of them were obvious Osa people. And that's what I always laugh about. People go, oh, I can tell that's Osa. I'll read it. Oh, that person's a troll. That person's Osa. And it's like, yeah, okay, they are. But you have to remember, I had 10 different identities that were set up. 2 of them, wait, let's see, I got to do 2. Wait. 2 of them, is that the right hand? I get so mixed up on this. 2 of them were ones that Yachty intentionally made look like Osa, look like a troll, look like someone that you go, oh, these guys are creepy, right? And there you go. That's it. But 8 of the other ones were quote unquote real people that had become buddies with, he would become buddies with different people around the internet. And they'd be like, oh, he told me, he said, oh, their favorite person, their favorite identity is Mike Smith. And Mike Smith was a finance guy in the church, but he was Mike Smith on the internet. He was just a super smart, super nice, super witty. That was Yachty. That was him. He was being Mike Smith. And so he knew these different identities, and no one knew that they were Osa. No one saw it as Osa. You wouldn't, because they're friendly. They find your buttons. He would always find your buttons and be like, oh, you're interested in golf, and then he'd be talking about golf. And that's all perfect because it's off Scientology, right? Anything that's distracting off of the Church of Scientology, David Miscavige, L. Ron Hubbard, bingo, perfect. He's happy, right? If it's people fighting, that's another great one. Divide and conquer. That was the second goal. Get them just fighting with each other. And that has gone on for years. And I've tried to tell people for years, these are the 3 goals. The third one was just slying the area so people are just, and I said, why would you even do that? He said, who's going to go somewhere where there's just junk all over somebody's house or their yard? It's just like you don't want to do it. And so that's what they were doing. That was the third thing. But mostly it was distract off of a main topic. So I always watch when people, they post a topic and it's like, ooh, this is a good topic. And then all of a sudden you see people come on and it's just bullshit shit. It's just nothing. It's nothing to do with the topic. It's everything to do with, I'm feeling great today. Or, I had a happy day. And okay, once in a while, okay. But when you see the person over and over posting that kind of stuff, after a while you kind of go, that person always comes on and talks about nothing. They never get into the topics. And that's when you go, okay, I got it. So anyway, these people are attacking me before I left. Now I escape out. I go across the country. At the time, like I've told you guys, I only thought there were 50 people. Wait, 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I thought there were only 50 people on the internet. I was wrong. It was very fun for me to find out. It was like I was way wrong. I mean, there were like thousands of people watching this because it was literally escape. They canceled my van. The vice president was at LAX. I don't think I was filming then because I don't think I had a camera with a camera in it. They were the old flip phones where you could text, but that was all. But somehow people got it onto the internet because people in Ohio started writing me in Clearwater after I got across to the other side. And they said, Magoo, we're not ex-Scientologists. We're not critics. We have nothing to do with Scientology. But we watched you escape out of that church. And so every morning we wake up and we come into office and we check and see what happened to Magoo today. Because that's how it was. Stuff was happening every single day to me. I mean, it was like, there were only 5 or 6 that were speaking out with their names. Everyone else was some secret name or, just like a nickname, but it wasn't their real, it's just, Sophie, you said, yes, Tori, it's distracting to topics, right? It's distracting off of the main topic. So now these people are, thank you, Sophie. Anyway, she's another moderator, so that's good. I have 2 moderators today. I feel so special. It's so, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all you guys coming on. It's amazing to me. It really is. It has been since day one. I mean, these guys from Ohio would say we come in every day, we check and see what happened to Magoo today. And so, at first I'm at Bob and Stacy's, right? And I come down the first day. And this is the thing I wanted to tell you guys, because you never, ever know when someone could change your life or help you in a major way. You never know. And because I lost everything I believed in, every person, all my friends, I knew, even though I hadn't been declared yet, but I knew it was coming. And I knew I was going to lose my husband of 27 years. So it was just like, I was just out by myself with like no clothes on, just standing in the street. It was just very awkward. So I come downstairs, I'm in my nightgown, and Stacy's cleaning lady says to me, "Would you like a piece of advice?" Now you have to get that in Scientology, one of their biggest things is that one of their worst things is being PTS, which is a potential trouble source, meaning your roller coaster, you're going up and down and up and down. Because I had epilepsy, they declared me PTS because I had epilepsy. As my mother pointed out, it's not a psychosomatic illness, Tori. It's a physical illness. It's something that you have and you need medication for it, right? But they kind of treated it like it was a psychosomatic illness, and I was creating it by thinking. People would say to me, "You're not being responsible enough, Tori." That's just all there was to it. If you were more responsible, you wouldn't have seizures. Another lady that I really loved, she was a big celebrity. She came up to me and she said, "It's your postulate, Tori. That's all there is to it." And a postulate is what you're deciding to happen. So she's saying, "I'm deciding to have epilepsy." It was just like, and I went and talked to Harold that day. I was in Clearwater. This was back when I was still in. And I said, this is just unbelievably awful. And he said, yeah. He said, I'm going to give you some money. I want you to rent a car and just go to Orlando and go to SeaWorld there and just hang out for days until I call you. And I did. Anyway, that's a whole nother story, I'll tell you. And so now I got to remember where I was. Okay, so I'm talking to the cleaning lady, and she goes, okay, and I'm telling you ahead of time, the worst thing is you can be PTS. And they had been talking to me about that for years. You're PTS, you need a PTS handling, all this other shit, meaning you're connected to a suppressive person somehow. And guess who the suppressive person was? Of course, my mother. Why? Because she didn't want her daughter to die because of these people taking me off of my medication. She wasn't suppressive. She was just trying to take care of her daughter. That was it. But they declared her an SP. And so now I'm PTS to her. Now, back then, and again, remember, I'm talking about the cleaning lady. So that's the thing that I have to remember. But back then, Hubbard was really big on, you had all these different ethics things that you had to do. And if you couldn't get through all of them, then you were declared a suppressive, right? But it was kind of a long haul. It was a different age. Now, Miscavige, you're declared suppressive. You're declared without even talking to you, without even hearing your side of the story. You're declared suppressive. That's it. That means you lose all your friends, you lose everything. That's it. It's awful. But so I'm PTS, and this cleaning lady says to me, and if I forgot something, somebody remind me, but I feel like I left something out. Let's see. I have actually been asked many times if I'm German because of my accent, but I look German apparently. Okay, so this is Sophie saying that, but sorry, it distracted me because of it. Okay, so I'm going to get back to what I'm talking about, which is the cleaning lady saying, "Would you like some advice?" And I said, honestly, anything. Thank you. Thank you for that. Love it. And so I'm like, yeah, really anything. Because I'm, kind of like hanging out on a clothesline. That's the way I feel. I'm just like out there by myself. And she said, okay, you're going to experience, with the amount of stuff that you've gone through in the last 24 hours, let alone weeks and months, you're going to be going up and down and up and down and up and down. And I think, oh, dear God, here's the PTS thing, right? Because that's what they always say. You're going up and down and up and down. But she said, but I want you to remember this and never forget it. And you know what? I never have. And I pass it on to a lot of people because it helps a lot of people. She said, even though you're going up and down because of what's happening on a daily basis, circularly, you are going up. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, I did have a lot of shit that happened, but circularly, I always remembered I'm going up. And that really helped me. She helped me. I ran into a lady at Staples who gave me some great advice. There were just different people that all along helped me. And so, a lot of people, they don't want to tell people their story, especially if it's kind of private. And, like mine, it's like a big story, but I tell everybody, I start talking to them because I feel like I can always, like, these are my cards. And if it's a young person, I say, yeah, I escaped out of a cult. And they always go, what cult? And I go, Scientology. You've probably heard of it. John Travolta, Tom Cruise. And they go, yeah, is it really a cult? And I go, let me give you my card. And here's the card, right? And I go, here's my card. And put it in your pocket, because if your boss is a Scientologist, they'll fire you. And he goes, really? And so then I tell him a few more stories. That's it. I basically just say they're after young people that are nice looking, people from other countries, anyone can speak 2 languages. So if they can speak English and Spanish, boom, they're after you. So I want people to know they're hunting you down. You know what I mean? And so I tell kids all the time that. And it definitely helps them. But I'm not PTS anymore, Scientology. I don't think I ever was. I think I had epilepsy, and they tend to label people. That's what happens. Okay, so anyway, there's that. The critics are attacking me, but finally, as I start telling my story, more and more people, not tons, but different people start going, okay, I get it. Magoo's really out. I'm not against her anymore. And it's just sort of like slowly I'm building my little friends. And one of them was Dilbert Perkins. I'll never forget him, because this was when a lot of people were still attacking me. And he would come on and he would say, maybe Magoo has something important to say. So I think we should listen to her. And I'm telling you, it touched my heart so much, because this was when everyone was against me. And it was just like, Jesus Christ, it's just unbelievable. The amount, when you're getting attacked like that, and you have to know all of that is a huge win for Osa. You have to know that. I mean, every time I see critics against critics, I think, big win for Osa. It's a wonderful day for Osa today, because that's all it is. They've been working on this. They work on it for months. They work on it for years. But finally, boom, they're against each other, and they're like, woohoo, we got our product. That's it. And so with me, they never got the product, because I just kept, because I know their shit. And it's like, no, I'm not giving up, Osa. I'm not. You can do your 25-step program saying, have Harold join the Better Business Bureau and tell him how horrible I am, and try to do this, try to do that, all these things to muzzle Tory. But you know what? It was an epic fail. Marty Rathman gave me that online. I saw it. I said, can I write the facts behind it? He said, sure. So I put in the facts, and then we put it online. So it's online. It was like for your eyes only. That's what it's called. But anyway, it's a 25-step program for, I think I was still, no, I think I'm Tori Chrisman by the time he gave it to me. My married name when I was married was Tori Bizazian. But anyway, okay, so now I'm at Bob and Stacy's. I'm going over to LMT. I'm on the phone. I'm talking to these different families. They're like, I can't talk to my kids. They're in Scientology. They won't talk to me. Can you help me? That kind of thing. And, I'm doing my best, but it's tricky. And I just remember there's going to be one more part 8, because it's me and Jesse flying back to LA. You got to hear that story. That's a great one. But anyway, this one, just to finish it, I'm at Bob and Stacy's. I grew up, my parents had money. They had friends that had money. They always had nice houses. They had nice cars. It was a good life. So now I go back to their house, and they had a nice house, but it was empty. They had their bedroom with a bed and a couple of tables, side tables. And they had my guest room with a bed and a table and a lamp, and the living room with no, not the living room. There's nothing in the living room. The dining room had a dining room table and chairs. That was it. That's all they had. And you have to know how spooked out I was. You have to understand that. But I was sort of like, wait a minute. Maybe these guys really are Osa. Because they had been in Scientology saying that they're evil people and da. Now that I'm out, who are the evil people? They're really Osa, right? And I'm thinking, maybe these guys are Osa, and they're just there with this phony Lisa McPherson trust, finding out who's leaving Scientology, like me, and then reporting it back to them, or trying to handle people like me. That's what I thought. And I thought, because I thought there's I don't know any millionaires that have nothing in their house. It just seemed too weird to me. So I thought, okay, I better talk to Bob. So I go, I really need to talk to you and Stacy. And I said, I don't really think you guys are Osa, but it certainly looks like it. You have nothing in your house. He's a multimillionaire. You have nothing in your house. Nothing. You have 2 beds and a dining room table. That's it. I said, it's just fishy. I have to tell you that. And Bob goes, okay, we're going to New Hampshire this weekend. And he buys tickets, and boom, we're off to New Hampshire. And we walk into his house in New Hampshire. And I'm telling you, it is fantastic. It is like a 3-story, gorgeous castle kind of thing, decorated from the top to the ceiling, to the floor, just fantastic. And landscaping to die for, sort of like the Queen of England, just like as far as you could see, beautiful landscaping. I mean, it was just amazing. I was just like, oh my God, this is what you think of when you think of a multimillionaire, right? And that was the thing. He lived there with his wife in Boston. Now, she wasn't there then because he was in New Hampshire, and she'd moved to Boston, and he was sort of having an affair with Stacy. That's what was actually happening. And I said, God, this house is just so filled with love. And he started crying. And I said, what's going on? And he said, I just have to tell you, I mean, I don't know what to do. I want you to tell me what you think I should do. Because, I love my wife, but I love Stacy, and, I just don't know what to do. And I said, well, Bob, and this is true for me to this day. I mean, I feel like if you have children, it is your job to raise those children. It's not your job to do 1,000. It isn't like you can't have a job. Of course you can, but your real job is to raise the children. That's what I think. And you need to pay attention to it and be there with them and be with the wife until the kids are 18. That's what I told him. And this was in front of Stacy. I said, I get it. You guys really like each other, but you know what? You owe it to the kids to do that. And that didn't work out. He stayed with Stacy, and they went back to Clearwater. But anyway, that was my, now I'm there. And Bunker is up with us, Mark Bunker. And he was like, Bob had hired him to make films and videotape people and stuff like that. So I had said, I'm not going to make videos. I'm not going to pick it. I'm not going to speak out. That's it. But Bunker's up there filming this whole thing. And I think he's filming them, right? Because they're very interesting. They're very beautiful people, and, the beautiful home. And I think, oh God, Bunker's making a whole video about this. How great, and I'm out hugging the trees and, just having a great time. Bob and I have a big pie fight, which is on the internet somewhere. You can type in Tori Magoo and Bob Minton pie fight. And, we had this big pie fight in the house. We had a lot of fun together. I love those guys. They were really great. And Bunker too. I mean, I adore Mark Bunker. He's just a wonderful person. And I really, really hope he wins this election, because he's been in the city council in Clearwater, and he's been great. So he's running now again. The election, I think, is coming up. It's the 12th today. It's something like the 19th or something. It's coming up soon. Anyway, I hope, oh yeah, I'm supposed to hit show. Wait, no, that isn't it. Wait, sorry. I don't get it. It says show, but anyway. So I'm at their house. I love it. Bunker's filming all of this. And I think, well, that's nice of Bunker. He's making this whole film about Stacy and Bob. And then they say, okay, well, the weekend's over. We've had a barbecue and different things and talked and had our pie fight, whatever, goofed around. And so it's like, okay, we're going to go back now. So pack up your things. Let's go. So now we're in the car, and we're going back to Boston, and then we're going to fly from Boston to Clearwater, Florida. So I'm in the car. I'm in the back seat. And I hear Bob and Stacy say, yeah, we're going to pick it in Boston. And he says, oh, by the way, we're going to pick it in Boston. And I said, I'm not going to pick it. I told you guys that. And again, the whole Osa thing, like maybe they're really Osa, but I don't think so now. But I'm just sort of like, what the hell is this? I'm not going to pick it. No, 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 no. I told you I'm not going to pick it. And Scientology had been picking on me already. So I was sort of, you'll see me with the red horns. That I wore those red horns because I knew what liars Scientologists are. And I knew because I had gone out picketing with Bob just a couple of times. But I knew they would say, oh, that's just Tori. She's out handling the critics, because that's what they would always send me out to handle the critics. So I wore these red horns, right? Which you could see in different photographs of me, especially on Mark Bunko's site. He's got them. But, they're these red horns and I'm wearing them. And I said, no, this will be perfect because this says I'm not handling them. I'm with them, right? So that had happened. Now we're up in New Hampshire. We're driving back to Boston. And Bob leans over and says, oh, by the way, we're going to pick it in Boston. I said, I'm not going to pick it. Just drop me off at the mall. I told you I'm not going to pick it. Just put me in the mall. And then as we're driving, he goes, okay. And as we're driving, I think, God, Tori, you're such a flake. You know all this information about the Church of Scientology. You've now talked to a lot of these families that are calling the Lisa McPherson Trust, begging for help with their children. And now you're going to be at a church of Scientology and you're not going to say anything because you want to be at the mall. And I don't even like going to the mall. So I didn't really want to. So, then I think, oh God, unbelievable. So I think I gotta stand up. So I said, you know what? Why don't you do this? You guys go park the car and drop me off here, and I'm gonna go in and talk to the Scientologists, right? And I'm thinking this is my first communication with Scientologists since I left, right? And I walk in and I say, hi, I'm Tori Bazazian. I'm a Scientologist. And I said, well, actually, I'm not. I just left the Church of Scientology. And so you better call HCO, which is the Hubbard Communications Office, which you're supposed to call if there's any really bad stuff, right? Because then they all come around and, they're going to push me out the door or whatever. I didn't know. I said, but you better call HCO. I'm kind of joking, right? Remember the name Carolyn Percy. Okay, so the lady at the desk says, well, I am HCO. And I said, well, good. Then we don't have a problem. Why don't you give me a tour of the org? I'm just kind of like joking around with them, right? And all of a sudden I hear, Tori. And I look over and it's my friend Carolyn Percy. And I think, oh my God. And she goes like this. Tori, you're in the book. And they had filmed this. I'm in What is Scientology, their original What is Scientology, which is a super thick book, right? And I had written a success story about it, a whole nother story. But anyway, I'm in the book. Now that was, I think, in the 80s. And they got it out to senators and libraries and all kinds of shit. But now a lot of people didn't want it. It was too much. It's too thick. It's whatever. So they said, we're going to redo What is Scientology. And we're just going to get it out to special people. So we're going to still use your success story because it's about me being in communication with my family. And they said, well, we want to take a new picture. So this is my new picture. That's me back then. So Carolyn goes, Tori, you're in the book. She's just like, wow. And this is what Scientologists say about Scientology. And I get this Homer Simpson, thought in my head. This is the first and the last time you're ever going to see that book. So I say, do you think I could get a copy of it? Because I know they're going to 86 it and that's it. And she goes, yeah, sure, take this one. There'll be plenty of them. And I go, okay. Now I got the book, right? I'm like, woo. And she goes, well, what are you doing here? And I said, well, actually, believe it or not, I'm with these really evil SPs that are outside. And it turns out they're not evil and they're really nice people. And they're going to be protesting. I'm not going to protest. So I'm just here. That's what I'm doing. And she goes, well, did you route out of HCO, or, they have this whole routing form you're supposed to do to leave Scientology, which, if any Scientologists are listening, you don't have to do it. All you have to do, the way out is the way through. That's what Hubbard said. But let's look at what he applied. The way out is the nearest door, right? He didn't route out with anybody. He just left. That was it. So you can do the same thing. The way out's the nearest door. That's it. So she asked me, did you do a routing form? And I said, no, I really don't have that plan. And she said, well, you need to do that routing form. And I said, well, you need to read the internet and find out what's actually going on, because it isn't this. And so then I went outside, and Bunker's still filming. He's filming Bob and Stacy, and they're walking around with their picket signs. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll talk to the staff. So I'm trying to talk to these two staff members, and you can see he eventually made a video called Magoo Dancing in Boston. And these guys are just filming me the whole time, right? They won't talk to me. One guy will come talk to me. And as soon as he does, he's like, well, what do you think about all these children being killed with psych drugs? And I'm like, what do you think I think? First of all, I don't think that's true. Secondly, anyway, we have a little bit of a conversation, and then bam, the guy comes and takes them inside. So they have no ability to communicate at all. And that kind of ticks me off, because it just does. It violates all the principles I was trained in Scientology. And now I get hot. It's kind of getting hot. And I go over to Bob and I say, I'm really getting hot. He goes, well, go over to the van, just turn on the air conditioning and take a rest and then come back. So I'm in the van and I turn on the air conditioning and I'm like, okay, this is much better. And all of a sudden I see this guy across the street and he's filming me, right? And he's filming me. And I kind of go like this, like, yeah, I know. I was there, a month ago. I get it. And I mean, I wasn't filming people. I wasn't doing stuff like that, but I was volunteering, helping Osa. So I knew the mindset. I was a Scientologist. So he keeps doing that, and he walks across the street, and he finally puts the camera on the window of the van. And that was it. That was honestly the second. I was not going to speak out. I wasn't going to make videos. I wasn't going to pick it. But at that second, when he put that camera on that window, I realized, you know what? I have free speech too. And maybe I have something to say. Now, that was in 2000. I have now made over 900 videos that are on YouTube about all kinds of different areas of Scientology that I highly recommend you listen to. Some of them are really funny. Some of them are very serious. There's an OT7 session. There's all kinds of stuff. But definitely go and watch Magoo Dancing in Boston, because, it's such a great video. Bunker and I both agree. It's one of our favorites of what he did, because the music is great in it. And it isn't what you think it is. He's a great, he won an Emmy for editing at a news station. I got to have a little bit of water. Woo. So Bunker won an Emmy for editing. So he's really good at it. And this video is really well edited. It's really fun to see. I think it's very short, but it's really fun. Anyway, there you go. So that's the end of 6 of part 6. Oh, no, part 7, right? I think we're in part 7. Yeah, we're in part 7. So, and being attacked from all sides, and how I handled it. And basically, I handled it. My situation was to just keep going, because I didn't have that much backup. People on the net, I used to say all the time, TikTok, time is on our side, because I knew eventually that the truth is on my side. Scientology doesn't have truth. We know that. If they had truth, they would come talk to us, right? Period. That's it. And they won't. So truth is on our side. But I knew something would break through eventually, and people would start talking and sharing their stories, and then bingo, everything would be good. But it took 8 years. It was really anonymous that broke that barrier. It was like they showed up, took on the Church of Scientology, and that was it. It was like the media started calling. I mean, I'd been doing interviews with the media, but they would only show a little bit of it. Now Nightline did a whole interview with a bunch of I think Mike and different people. and Mark Headley, and they did these long interviews about what actually happened. And so it was like, oh, thank God for anonymous. I always say it to this day. I mean, it really, some of them came for fun, some of them came to protest, but they all, for me, it was just like monumentally great. So anyway, that was the end of it. That's the end of part 7. You can look up Magoo dancing in Boston, and I recommend you do. It's really a fun video. But that was sort of, now I'm out. You know what I mean? Because Bunker posted on the internet, and Scientology, being the brilliant people they are, declared me suppressive like a couple days after that. This was, the declaration came out September 15th, 2000. So Tori Bazazian declared, here's my declare, all my horrible things, which I have done a lot of weird shit, but I told everybody about it. So all my friends know, and they know that everybody knows my stuff. So they made up a bunch of shit, and that's all just crap that they made up because everybody knows my stuff. So that isn't a secret. Anyway, there you go on that. So they declared me suppressive. Yeah, now I'm truly an SP and proud to be one. Like Laura gave me the T-shirt that I really like. So there you go. So that's that. That's the end of 7. I am gonna have to do one more because I thought of something else, but I'm gonna let me just scroll up, or maybe wait. Let me just check the new comments. Because now that I have moderators, maybe they're gonna do it. I don't know how this goes. Push the like button. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Everybody, please do like it. Okay. That's an ad thing, so I'm not going to do that. This is a lady. Yes, truth is on our side and love always wins. Yay. Look at all these hearts. Yay. Thank you. Selma, love from the Netherlands. Oh, how great. What a great place to be. How are you monetized? How are you monetized with subs and viewing hours? I DOA is going to come over tomorrow, and we're going to figure that out. So that's a tomorrow thing. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Ooh, there you go. That's good. Thank you. Thank you, Selma. All right, now I don't know how to do this. Am I supposed to go up or wait? Let me just see. We're going to speak out. Okay. Thank you. I've had eyelash in my eye. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Holy crap, Tori. I caught alive. All right. There you go. And you told me how to say your name. It's Kelia, right? Kelia, I think. Anyway, she sent me a thing on how to say her name. I will go back and catch up when you're finished. Okay, good. This person, Roxy, said I'm going to have to find the Magoo dancing in Boston. You just Google it. It's really easy to find. Before it's the time, it sounds like, I don't think it, before it's time, it sounds like. No, it's there. It's there. It's on Google. It's the first thing that comes up if you type in Google Magoo dancing in Boston. It comes up. Now let me just see quickly if there's any questions. Thank you very much. This is nice. You've been a badass since the beginning. Thank you. Carolyn Percy, that's right. I think she's still in, unfortunately. I don't know, but anyway. I will be getting monetized soon. That's right. Oh, these are ads. Okay, great. Okay, good. Oh, look here. That's a sweet thing. Thank you, SPTV. Oh, yeah, that's right. Tattoo Warrior. Hi. Thank you for the other night. I'll always remember that you remembered those things. That really helped me. Okay. Thank you for joining live. Okay, Lexie. Thank you. Don't forget to like the video. It helps out it helps get the notifications out. That's good. And it also, if you subscribe, then it gets me, I think, moved up the YouTube thing a little bit. Okay, so now let's see. Let's see. Damn, Osa sounds secretive. They are. That's why these. But Loki fun? No. Osa isn't fun, if that's what you mean. No, they're not. They're not fun at all. They're crazy. You were talking about Dilbert. Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you. And how you got started as friends. That's right. Dilbert was the one who said Dilbert Perkins. That was his nickname. That's not his name. But he came online and when everyone was saying, "Don't talk to Magoo, don't trust her." In 2000, she's she's really a secret agent, which is funny that now they're saying that again. It's just like, oh yeah. But they don't get how it's just so stupid. The guy that was going to give him the 5,000 said, "I honestly didn't give him to him because they said, they made that whole story up about you." And I thought, that's bullshit. Now I forgot. Okay, here it is. Wait, how do I undo this? There you go. Okay. So anyway, Dilbert Perkins definitely helped me, and then we were really, really good friends. Sorry. This is the first time I've been talking this morning. I talked a little bit, but not much. So now I get why the opera goes la 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 la. It's like they're warming up, right? Even if it's later. Okay, here's a question. Are there Okay, let's see. I'll put it up here. Just in time. I have a question. Are there aspects of Scientology that work? I think you asked this before. How all these bright, high functioning people could get sucked in if something there weren't beneficial. Of course, they definitely have beneficial things. I'm not saying they don't. But when you balance it with, like my friend, this is a different thing, but my friend said, let's think of it like a closet. And this was about a boyfriend. And she said, let's make a pile for all your good clothes and a pile for all your bad clothes. And when I first got with the guy, it was like good clothes and a couple of bad clothes. By the end, it was like almost nothing good. And most of it was bad. And it's kind of like how Scientology is. When you first get in it, there's definitely things that are good. And you meet all these people. When we got in, there were a lot of cool people that were in it. They've all left now. And I don't know who's in it now. But yeah, sure, there's got to be some stuff that works. But a lot of it is hope and promise and wanting to help other people. Hubbard had his thing, we're going to clear planet Earth. So those are like big, powerful things. It's like, wow, that would help if everybody got rid of all their upsets and all their pains and all their illnesses. And, they had perfect memories and perfect IQs. I mean, it's just sort of like, when you get closer to clear and you realize how full of shit it is, and this is my opinion, because there's people that do think they're clear, but yeah, it's not going to happen. Okay, good. So it looks like my wonderful, thank you, Sophie. I love you guys. I'm really happy that I've got moderators now. This is so exciting. All right, I'm going to hit new comments because that's what Love It told me to do before. So now I'm back at the bottom. So glad I caught Tori's live. Me too. This is cute. Look at her nickname. Cute. Pippi Longstocking. Forever. All right. Okay. Now this is one. Remind people of the name of the young man at Celebrity Center who needs to call home. The name of the young man. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, it's Phil Jones's son who put up the billboard yesterday, and his son's name is Michael Jones. So it's Michael Jones, call your mother. That's what he wanted people to say. Thank you for reminding me. I really appreciate that, and so will Phil. Okay, so question, Tori. Okay, here, wait, I gotta put it up here. Another one of my little things I learned. Tori, do you have a message from the London protesters who are holding a party outside the London Org tomorrow for LRH's birthday? Oh my God, I forgot it was LRH's birthday. Just congratulations on everything they're doing. They're really, really doing a good job from everything I understand. So that's my message to them is keep going. Don't stop. keep going. And also, if they don't know about the guy in St. Hill, I would tell them about that. If you're there, because that's sort of a wonderful story I love, where we went to St. Hill with Anonymous. And let's see, Anonymous was, I'm sorry about my throat. Anonymous was 2008. So it was around 2008, 2009. But this taxi driver came up to me and he goes, "Here's my card." And I took it and it says, "If you're a Scientologist, I will pick you up and take you anywhere you want to go for free." And I said, "You're kidding. Have you ever taken anybody?" And he said, "Oh, yeah." And I thought, oh, that's fantastic. I mean, I love that kind of thing because that's someone who's doing it. You know what I mean? They're on his own. I mean, nobody talked him into that. He just said, I want to help them. I know they're trapped. So this is a great way. They call a taxi and I give them my card right away. If you want to get out of here, I'll take you there. That's cool. So now what is this? What is this? Isn't it Tori? It's Tory, just so you know for the future, who put the 90s actors video on how to become a cult leader. That's how good video to watch to see a cult leader play back, all used to control others. I don't think that was me, but maybe. Who put the 90s actors video on how to become a cult leader? I might have. You have to tell me who the name was because I don't remember it. But I've got a lot of videos up there. I really do. All right. Okay, here's a nurse. Tori nurse here. Keep taking sips of water. Thank you. It'll limit my throat. I know. I don't know. I've got to talk before I make these videos. I really apologize, but I will do that. You're a Facebook friend. Thank you. My brother said that too. It was really impressive. I was like, wow. He said, "God, you look great." And I was like, all right. Okay, and what is this? I don't either. I went to protest in Berlin, Germany earlier today, though. Good for you. All right. All right. Does anybody have any other questions? Should I go up and look for other ones or not? Let me just see. Do you have a message? Okay, the London protesters. I answered that. Okay. You guys are funny. Anyway, make sure that you highlight that. And remember, DOA is going to be doing this thing. It's actually La Poubelle. Sorry. I don't know what Stacy's doing. No, I don't. But thank you for putting the big question thing there. I saw her probably 5 years ago. That's the longest it's been. I haven't seen her since, and I don't really know what she's doing. I hope she's okay. I think she is. I do. That's right. That's my email, ToriChrisman44@gmail.com. But you have to know I'm not great at email. So I just have to let you know. You're ahead of your time. There you go. I know. I'm really happy with all of you. Okay, the unraveling of Scientology is more like, let's see what this person says. The unraveling of Scientology is more like deconstruction of a spider web than putting a string on a knitting sock. Wow. On a knitted sock. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's a weird trip. It really is. And now, see, for years, people would get mad at us if we were picketing. And they'd say, well, Scientology is a religion that has a right to believe what they want. And I'd say, I don't care what they believe. They can believe whatever they want. But they need to, people, before you go in, before you give them your name, before you give them your phone number or address, which I recommend you don't ever, because you will never, ever, ever get off their mailing list. Ever. And I've called their mailing list, which they now don't allow anyone to call except a couple of Sea Org members. But they let me call them. And I was just shocked. It was like these people going, oh, that person died, like 20 years ago. I've been getting Scientology mail forever. No, take us off your mailing list. People beg to get off their mailing list. You can't. So I always say, don't give them money. Don't give them anything. Find out both sides. Because my thing is, once you learn both sides, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, you learn both sides, and you're never going to go in. You're never going to stay in, certainly. Okay, so this is, you weren't going to speak out, but the camera on the window made you decide to. I weren't going to speak out, but the camera on the window. Oh, no, it wasn't the camera on the window. It's a guy holding a camera. They were holding cameras. That's what really pissed me off. If it was a camera on a window, that's nothing. This was a guy not talking to me, filming me. Oh, I see what you're saying. On the window in the car. Yes, that was it. That was the final thing. It was the final straw for me. It was just like, it just was so invasive. It's like, you're going to come across the street and put your stupid camera on my window instead of talking to me. Done. Deal. That's it. I am now an activist. And I have said for years, Scientology has made me an activist and kept me an activist because of the shit that they do. Just like with all these, the younger kids with the live videos and the stuff they're doing with these false calls to the police and stuff. They don't think that's going to have an effect on them. It is Scientology. And I know you're listening to this video. I know you are. And I'm telling you, I told you in 2000, and you guys, if you go watch Magoo Dancing in Boston, you'll hear me say to Mike Render, there's thousands of people here that you have no idea that they're here. And I said to David Miscavige, I told you, I warned you about this when I was in, that you are creating your own enemies. And here I am. Boom. There you go. And I still am, and I still will be. That's just the way it is. It's like, it's pathetic. All right, now wait a second. Holy crap, Tori, I caught, oh, okay. They caught it live. That's good. I'm glad. All right. Yeah, find Magoo Dancing in Boston. It's on Google because I check all the time. They did get rid of a couple of the good videos that were somebody else made, and we can't find them anymore. Anyway, I think I got them all. Now let me hit new comments just to see if there's any new questions. Okay, question. All right, here we go. This guy from COS in Berlin said he personally knew a gay couple who are in COS in Clearwater. That's not true, is it? Of course it's true. It's like Scientology will take a gay person in. My friend literally almost went bankrupt. They took over $1 million trying to fix him. He ended up waking up and leaving Michael Pattinson. He was the person I'm talking about. And, it was just awful. But they'll just milk him to death saying, you're still gay. So there's still something wrong with you. So we've got to fix you. So we're going to ask you for the money, and that's how it rolls. It's pathetic. It really is. But anyway, yeah, it is true. And it isn't because they say they're welcome, but are they welcome? Hell no. Hubbard, in Science of Survival, you can look it up on the chart of human evaluations, and I'm part of it because it says anyone with homosexuality, which isn't me, but neurological illness, which is me, 1.1, which is the worst tone level on the planet, right? And it's like, oh, please, if you really understood the tone levels, you would know I am not 1-1. 1-1s are very covert. They don't say what they think, which is a lot of gay people are not 1-1 either. It's just Hubbard's fanaticism. I think he was probably in the closet. He was probably gay and wanted to be gay, and thus was so much against them. Okay, now let me check for anything else. Here's a question. I know of Alonzo and I knew the McClearys, and that's all I'm going to say. Let's see. Well, he said it was accepted. I like your tone. Okay. Your cadence is true. It has to be. That's my thing. If you tell the truth, you're going to be okay. It doesn't matter what you're saying. If you tell the truth. And you know what? I finally saw a guy out at UCLA and he'd written a book. Anybody can write a book. And I thought, I got to go hear this guy. And I still haven't done it. I admit it because I'm not really a writer. But his point was, and I know I could do it for this reason. My problem is you can hear I have so many different stories. It's difficult to hone it down into a book. Do you see what I mean? And I've talked to people in the industry who go, you should make a movie because your story is outrageous. And more than one person has said you should make a movie. And that I think I could do. A book is very difficult to get this much stuff into a book. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying. But you said you like my tone, my cadence. Okay, thank you for that. Time to investigate. Okay, I don't remember talking about investigations. But here's another question. What did you say? Did you see I have reported for mod duty? No, I didn't see that. All right. Okay. Well, thank you. You mean here? Because you're a moderator other places too, right? So I don't want to stretch you too thin. So you let me know if it really is something I didn't see that. Where would I see that? Where would I see that? On this channel or some other channel? You can answer me right now. Let me know. All right, I clicked new responses and you're not there. Okay, wait, there you are up there. Time to investigate Bo Beats. Okay, I don't know what that means. Okay, yes. Oh no, this would be a treat. Okay, all right, cool. Well, all right, then I'd be honored. Okay, all right, good. Well, then, how? Because you're good at remembering my story, so that really helped the time you did that. So I'll ask my friend who helped me set up the things. I think I remember how to do it, but anyway, can you email me your? Is that what it is? SPTV Tattoo Warrior. I just need that, right? Do I need anything else? See, she sent me a whole link to these other mods, and then I copied that, and it came up SPTV Warrior. So can you email me that? Is my mod? She is amazing. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Oh, that's right. It's a she. I always think it's a he. That's right. I'll have to get used to that, but it's a she. Okay. All right. Okay, good. So you'll email it to me, SBTV Warrior. Okay, good. Good. All right. Well, anyway, there you go, guys. I hope you liked it. Thank you for staying. And remember, you can go over to the DOA thing. It's about La Poubelle getting their their liquor license, but they have done some really creepy things on drinking, outside when they're not supposed to, and creepy things. So anyway, you can go over there and listen to it. And that I think that's all we can do. I don't think you can talk because you have to be down there to talk, but we can listen to it. I'm going to go listen to it. So I don't have the link to put it on there, but I think it's over at it's at DOA's, and I know this lady put it there, which is the the Nona Nonna boss audits and investigations. She interviewed DOA this morning, and she had the link to where it is at 4:30. So there you go. All right, I'll type it in here. Wait, let me just type it in right now because I remember if I hit send, okay, it's uh, Nona boss audits and investigates. Here you go. That's it. And then DOA is she's interviewing DOA. So that's what it was. And I think it's on YouTube. Thank you for all. Oh, that's nice. That's my moderator. That was nice. Thank you all for coming and supporting Tori. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for helping me. I really appreciate all of you. And this is another one of my mods. Wait. Where'd she go? She skipped around. All right, I got to do that. Here we go. Oh, darn it. Where are you? Here you go. I think, did I show that already? Absolutely love how Tori supports the young ones. We are all so happy to have her speaking out on YouTube. Thank you. Yeah, I've been speaking out since 2000, so I've made tons of videos, but learning this new live stream thing is really fun for me. And I love the kids. I really do. They're really, really determined. And I'll tell you, if you want to laugh, I posted one of Jessica's on my YouTube site because she is so funny. She really is. She has a great sense of humor. And this is before she really got into the whole Scientology and the police thing. And she had some very funny short, it was when she was on TikTok, which they kicked her out of. And who do you think managed that? But she had all these really short, funny videos, and they're a riot. I mean, it's really worth it. If you ever need a laugh, go over to Jessica Pomadessa and just scroll down to, I don't know, when they're little short videos. That was her TikTok videos. And they're funny. I mean, they are funny, and they're one after another. I mean, she is something else. So they're content creators. That's what it's called. All right. So now SBTV Warrior said something about, I'm 66 years old and I want to be Jory when I grow up. That's what he wrote. Oh, that's sweet. I thought more than one person said that to me. I really appreciate it. It's really sweet. Anyway, thank you guys. I'm going to end it now. I really appreciate all of you, and thank the moderators, because thank you. It really helps. And I will see you guys soon. I might do a midnight with Magoo tonight. I might, but it might be tomorrow night. All right, I'm going to end the stream. Bye.